Good afternoon and welcome. As usual, I'm just going to give a couple of seconds to allow most of our attendees to come in before we start the business of the day.
Thanks, Garba, and happy Monday to everyone who's joining us. I think this is going to be an interesting session. We talk a lot about the Facebooks and the Instagrams of the world. Snapchat and TikTok are a little bit more obscure. So I'm hoping we can kind of shed some light, make those platforms seem a little less scary. That's the goal for today.
Yeah, okay. Once again, good afternoon and welcome. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, my name is Gagba Shifonuche Yahaya, and I'm the training coordinator with the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple Small Business Development Center helps small businesses start and grow. We offer free one-on-one consulting and a variety of low to no cost webinars. We are proud to be part of the nationally accredited networks of the Small Business and Development Centers, which has over 1,000 networks across the United States of America. You are here this afternoon for a webinar on Snapchat and TikTok basics for entrepreneurs. During the webinar, all attendees have been muted. However, we always encourage you to drop your questions in the Q&A or the chat box. In addition to this, a copy of the PowerPoint and the link to the recording will be sent to all the attendees. Without much ado, please allow me to welcome our wonderful presenter, even as she takes over the floor once again for the presentation. Ms. Sarah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Garba. Yes, and like I said earlier, happy Monday, everyone. We're going to be talking about Snapchat and TikTok, some very fun and interesting social media platforms. Before we jump into that really quickly, Garba already mentioned this, but we are proud to be part of a national network. Some of you might have been on our webinars before, but if this is your first time, I just want to let you know that we are here in Pennsylvania to provide these services to you at no cost. And besides attending these webinars where you can talk to me or get some really valuable information from our guest speakers, we offer one-on-one consulting as well. So if you're ever thinking, after a webinar that you'd like to take that next step or do a deeper dive for your business, you can always take that opportunity as well. So who am I? My name is Sarah Mailloux. I'm our Digital Transformation Program Manager here at Temple Small Business Development Center. And I focus on our digital marketing and programming. So some of you have probably seen me. I do quite a few webinars for us here. I also manage our entire program. So I help find the other speakers. I manage our full-time consulting staff. And we also have some student projects that we run as well. So anything in the digital space, I'm your girl. Prior to this, I worked at the Delaware SBDC and I was in the lead office there. So that gave me a pretty unique perspective of what SBDCs do across the network. And besides that, I have experience in wealth management, digital marketing, international business, academic coaching, ideation, and commercialization. So it really runs the gamut. I am a solopreneur myself, and so I know what you're going through. I know how difficult it can be to get found, and all of the social media platforms can be really overwhelming. So part of the reason we run these social media basics series is to really demystify social media and give everyone a strong, solid foundation for how to get started. Because it's not as scary as it seems. It's just the unknown is unnerving. So I know Snapchat and TikTok, like I said earlier, are some of the newest platforms on the market. We're going to talk a little bit more about what they do and what they can do for your business. So here's the agenda for today. It's going to be a bit of a jam-packed session. I'm thinking that when I run this in the future, I might even separate the two of them out. But because Snapchat doesn't have a crazy amount of business focused options, we're just going to talk about the two of them today. And I think it's timely. Some of you might be saying, well, why are we talking about these two in particular together? They both very heavily rely on video marketing and connecting with others in an engaging format that isn't necessarily just like posting something like you would post a static post on an Instagram or Facebook. Everything on these platforms is much more fast-paced, and we'll discuss that. So the way I want to set this agenda up for us today is we're going to talk a little bit about Snapchat first and its benefits, then TikTok and its benefits. The reason I'm splitting the webinar up this way is some of you might be thinking I only care about TikTok, I only care about Snapchat. I'm here to try to convince you that whether you decide to use one or the other or neither or both, that it's good to know what they're doing and what businesses are doing on these platforms. So once we kind of do a deep dive into what each of them are, then you can really start to decide for yourself, is this a right fit for me? And then we'll move to the, if it is a right fit for you, how do you get started? And we'll do each of those as well. And then talk about just general marketing and networking uses, because like I said, they do very similar things in different ways. And we'll discuss that as we go. If you have questions throughout, please do put them in the chat or the Q&A. I will be pausing a couple times to take a look in there. We also have Garba online, and he will be helping me if I miss anyone's questions. So let's dive right in. What is social media is always the first slide I put in the social media basics series, not because I think you guys don't know what social media is, but because I think it's really important to preface the conversation to remind all of us why we're on social media. I think in this ever increasing technology world, it can be very easy to think that we're just on social media because we're trying to get as many followers as possible, or because we just want people to, see our ads and buy our products, and not really realize that social media was and still is to this day used to build virtual networks and communities. It was made purposefully to share information and ideas with others that were close to you. It really started out as that kind of communication platform between friends, and it has grown to include businesses in a very real way. But you still want to be using these platforms to build virtual networks. You're not just out here with no plan for how to reach people and putting content out that no one cares about. You have to be conscious in planning how you're going to build that network. So that's why I like to keep this slide up here, is why are we talking about all these platforms? To make sure that you're building a network that works for you, and you're doing so consciously. So let's just start. Let's get right to it. What is Snapchat? Like I said, that's the first one we're going to talk about. I'd be curious in the chat, especially since these are such more obscure platforms, if any of you have used Snapchat. If you could just let us know in the chat, I'd love to see it. If you use it personally, if you've ever tried to use it for your business, I'd be really curious to see if there's anyone in the room that has touched this one. But if you have never heard of Snapchat before, what is Snapchat? It's a very interesting platform that became very popular with high school and college age students quite, maybe 5-7 years ago. And it's used to send photos and videos. So it's very similar to Instagram in that aspect. But what made it so wildly popular is that it's known for its disappearing content. So anything you put on Snapchat disappears within 24 hours, compared to something, like I said earlier, on Facebook or Instagram, where it's a static post. It stays there forever until you delete it. These things you are sending out to your friend groups or to just individuals or wherever you're putting it, and they disappear within 24 hours, regardless of if you wanted it to or not. There's a huge reason for this. I think people really liked the idea that you didn't have to have super polished content. With Facebook and Instagram and the LinkedIns of the world, I think many people, business or personally, found that you were trying to create content that looked really clean because you wanted it to draw people's attention, because people could come back to it time and time again. You didn't want it to look messy or disheveled, or you wanted to do some graphic editing to it to make it look highly professional. And Snapchat has really given people an outlet to just share their pictures or videos of what they're doing without it having to be necessarily static marketing worthy. It's really more about sharing that human connection and just being like, this is what I'm up to, or check this out. And they're called stories for a reason. So this 24-hour disappearing content is a story. It's called that for a reason. You're telling a story about yourself, and you can use that for your business in a very similar way. So it's very easy to create these story-driven content, which, if any of you have attended my other social media series, you've noticed I really appreciate story-driven content. I think that's beneficial no matter what you're doing with your business, is having that story of who you are and why you're in business. So from that perspective, Snapchat is meant for that kind of connection. They have grown in recent years to include many other services. So if you guys heard me say the word stories and were thinking, wait, when I attended your Instagram webinar, you also used the word stories. And I know that Facebook does stories. You'd be right. It's because social media is always in competition with each other. Facebook and Instagram stole that 24-hour stories idea from Snapchat. So Snapchat was the originator. Now Facebook and Instagram do the same thing, and vice versa. Snapchat started taking some things that these other platforms did and trying to integrate it in. So Not only can you post it to your friends, but you can also now chat people, do just individual chats, whether that's just sending them the photo individually or text chatting, essentially. It allows you to store your images, which it didn't used to do. And it also added a whole section on events and media content and ads and games and all of this other stuff that we're going to talk about. But it has a huge following. There's about 200 million people that use this daily, not just have the app downloaded, but they're on there daily. And one thing I will say is that it is mobile only. And when we talk about TikTok, just as a heads up, TikTok is also mobile only. So these are ones that you're going to have to download on your phone. That's why I have this picture here. You're going to have to download it and use it on your phone only. So really quickly, I just want to take a look at the chat and see if anyone has used it. Some people said not really. No, never used it, familiar with it, but never used it. Yeah. So like I said, it's very popular with younger generations. The people that are on it for business, maybe even a little bit less so. So let's take a look at some of the people that are on Snapchat, right? So like I said, it's a huge demographic of younger people. When we look at this graphic I have over here on the right, you can see 70% of the people on Snapchat are under age 17. This is very popular with middle schoolers and high schoolers. But I don't want you to discredit adults in this conversation because 62% of people 30 years and younger are on it. So we're talking about many people in the younger millennial range, people who are in college or young adults, young professionals. There are a ton of people in that age range with some disposable income that you might want to draw your products to. So when you look at that, 30 and under, if you're trying to reach that demographic, they are going to be on Snapchat for the majority. 25% of people age 30 to 50, and then it really peters off from there. So this is, like I said, very much a younger generation focus. Pretty even spread on gender. So males and females pretty much equally use this platform. Even the location spread is very consistent. It maybe skews a little bit more towards urban, but because the idea here is just fleeting images that you're sharing with friends or trying to create that human connection, it's not really tied to any one demographic. And something that I think is interesting, you guys, if you've attended any of my other sessions, might have noticed I always like to include this graphic here. And sometimes income and education have a huge spread. But for Snapchat, income and education don't really. If anything, the people under 30,000 a year has the highest income percentage, although you can see it's pretty much evenly spread, just because of the age of the people on this platform. Same thing with education. You'll see a lot of them are in some college or high school degree or less. Once again, we're looking at that age range. But one thing that I think is really interesting from a business perspective is how many times a day people are on here, because maybe more people have Facebook or maybe more people have Instagram. But compared to some of the other platforms, how many people open it several times a day? Facebook and Instagram is very high, but Snapchat is the next one up there. So people are not only logging into Snapchat once a day, but several times a day compared to the YouTubes, Twitters, and LinkedIns of the world. You can see LinkedIn didn't even make it onto this chart. So that's something to consider is if you're looking for an engaged audience, people that you have the opportunity to reach multiple times versus missing them if you didn't have your post fall into the feed at the exact time they were checking for the day, there's a huge amount of potential here. And the US is the largest market. So on other webinars, I've talked about the spread internationally. By far, Snapchat has the largest market in the United States. It's not even worth putting a graph or something like that. And like I said, they introduced chatting. So it's now a very popular messaging platform as well. So these are just some statistics about who's on here. As we kind of start looking at what the benefits are for you as a business owner, I think the biggest thing I want to pull out here is this top bullet, which is that Snapchat users have said in studies that they're 60% more likely to make impulse purchases off of something they saw on Snapchat. So that's a huge amount of people that are interested in making a quick buy, and it's very in line with this generation. So if any of you have done some target market research, you might know that people age 30 and younger are more likely to make impulse purchases in general. So this is very in line with some academic studies and could be very beneficial for you if you're trying to kind of gain a new market share and show people something new they've never seen it before. They're more likely to purchase it without doing that research or some of that more due diligence that maybe older generations or people that are finding your product on Facebook or LinkedIn might be doing. They get very interested in the fad. So what are some benefits for your business? You might be saying, okay, Sarah, I've kind of heard of it. I don't know if I even want it, but tell me more. What is the benefit of being on this platform that has these disappearing messages? Well, people on Snapchat, like I said, are on there very often. So you can create a loyal following very easily. People go on there several times a day. They are looking for content specifically. So compared to some other platforms like a LinkedIn or even a Facebook, when you are having people follow you on Snapchat, they are more likely to be engaging with your content on a consistent basis. It's also a great way to connect with younger generations. That one was pretty obvious. There are some really unique ways to use Snapchat. So even if you're saying, I really want to focus on the Facebooks and the Instagrams of the world, you can use your other social media platforms to draw people to a Snapchat for specific things. So here in the bottom corner, I wrote some great ideas for using Snapchat, like sneak peeks or limited time offers. That's a great way many businesses use Snapchat because it's a 24-hour disappearing content. You can have an Instagram post and say, hey, go follow me on Snapchat to get the code for a limited time offer for 20% off this pair of shoes or whatever it is, and that helps to increase your following. But also this goes back to the loyal following, right? If you have people that they know they're going to find some sneak peeks of products to come or some limited time offers or some special advice or information or something exciting that you want to share, but you don't want it to be up forever. You're trying to create that scarcity mindset, which is a great way to bring people in, is for them to think it's going to be gone soon. That's a great way to use Snapchat. That disappearing content can benefit you. You can utilize Snap ads, which are paid ads on Snapchat. Not very different from a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad. Essentially, it's just paying to get in front of that younger audience. And we'll talk a little bit more about Snap ads later. And you have the uncharted territory advantage. So if you're looking at me and you're like, Sarah, you must have like no idea if you think I'm going to go on Snapchat. Well, many small businesses probably have that same idea. They're a little unnerved by Snapchat. And so there aren't many on here. You have the ability of being one of the first movers in this space, which gives you a larger take on the market compared to people who are not. You have that competitive edge to be here when other small businesses are not here. And then I just like this over here has a lot of the same statistics we've talked about before. Like I said, we have only an hour, so I'm trying to not spend time on a bunch of crazy statistics that you don't need. But I think one of the things that you will really like from this is, where's the one I wanted? Right here, 22% of executives plan to advertise on Snapchat in 2016. So this is a bit of an older graphic. But there are so many people that are going to be moving to Snapchat. That's the real takeaway I want. All of these other statistics about, yeah, there's a ton of people on here. Yeah, they look at a lot of snaps. But people are moving to Snapchat. So you have the uncharted territory advantage right now to be one of the firsts. Where you don't want to be is one of the last, because it's a lot harder to gain market share when you're one of the last people. So that's just one of the things to consider in terms of what a pro for Snapchat might be. So that's basically what Snapchat is. I'm going to show you how to sign up for an account and how to use it. But really, you're posting small pictures and videos that are disappearing is the main goal. And there are some benefits to having content that is specific in that way. If anyone has any questions about that, let me know really quickly. And then we're going to talk about what Tick-Tock is next and why you might like Tick-Tock better, or you might like both. I'm looking at the chat here. There's just a ton of people that have never used it, which I kind of expected for this session. Someone says Snapchat has minors. They cannot transact business without their parents. Yes. So if someone's under the age of 18, they cannot buy something without their parents' permission. Obviously, they don't have their own credit card. That is something to be aware of. But they might find something and make an impulse purchase, like show it to their parents. And like I said, I don't want you to discredit that. 60% of people aged 18 to 29 are also on Snapchat. So there is a ton of people on here that do have the ability. So that was a great add-in, Cosette, that I love that you brought that to our attention, because that is something that maybe small businesses aren't always aware of. Joyce said they say nothing ever disappears. Does it really go away? Yeah, it's gone. Like for most of Snapchat, you can't even see it yourself once it's gone. You've sent it off, it disappears. One thing that Snapchat has kind of kept an eye on is if people are trying to take a screenshot. That was something that was really popular with Snapchat a couple of years ago, is if you were sending something to your friend and then they tried taking a screenshot of it. I think Snapchat has done a lot in terms of privacy to prevent people from doing screenshots as well. But of course, you bring a good point, which is if someone is really, really trying to copy your content, I could always open Snapchat on my phone and then have my friends take a picture of your phone, you know? So there are ways that people could go around it. I don't think anyone will be putting something on Snapchat that you want to not, that would warrant that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not like any of you are taking pictures of things that are offensive or vulgar in any way that you would want people to not find. But it is the most disappearing content. It, you know, like they say on Instagram or Facebook, even if you delete a post, people can't go back and find it, but could Facebook and Instagram retrieve it? Kind of the same question mark, right? But it's not something that gets saved. I know that was kind of ambiguous because there's a lot of workarounds with people taking stuff off the internet, but if you are doing this for business purposes only, such as sneak peeks and things like that, then yeah, once the 24 hours is up, it's gone. It's not like people can see it. It just disappears. Once they open it, then it disappears for them. So it's not like they can keep it. So I hope that kind of answered that a little bit. We can do a deeper dive into cybersecurity of putting images out if that is something people have interest in. Can you register a business email with Snapchat? I thought it was tied to your phone number to register. You can use an email as well, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to walk through how you set up Snapchat with your business. So great question, and we will touch on that. Yes, thanks, Steph. So it does notify you if they're doing a screenshot. So thank you for that. Yeah. So you want to make sure that if you do see people screenshotting that, you know what you want to do next with that information. But like I said, you want to make sure that you're not putting anything out there that you would not want people to see. I think as a business, that is not as much of a concern. Obviously, Snapchat has seen a lot of concern from parents for other reasons. So, all right, what is TikTok? Let's move on to TikTok really quickly, and then I'm going to show you how to set up these accounts if you had any interest in doing so. TikTok is the newest platform. So if any of you are saying, yeah, I've kind of heard of Snapchat, you've probably heard of TikTok. And I would love to see another one in the chat if any of you are interested, letting me know if you've heard of it, if you've ever made an account. Have you used TikTok? Have you seen TikTok videos? If anyone could share, that'd be great. I'd love to see it. But you know how I said there are about 210 million people on Snapchat? There are over 1 billion people on TikTok, and TikTok is newer. So it has blown up. It is significantly more popular, and especially with Gen Z. So, you know, in Snapchat, I said 18 to 29-year-olds, are still about 62% of them are on Snapchat. Gen Z really has taken the foothold with TikTok. What do you do on TikTok? You create and share short videos. So it's very similar to Snapchat, and then you're taking a short video, you're sharing it up with a group of people, and you can be very creative with this. People couldn't say that word, lip sync, they sing, they dance, they make funny comedy skits, they might just talk and share a funny story, they might take a video of their dog or their cat being very cute. There's a lot you can do here. And as a small business, if you've attended any of my webinars on like YouTube or video marketing, any video that I might have recommended for those also can make sense for TikTok, such as this one that I put in the top corner is a small business making a short video of how they make their putty. You know, you could make a funny dance and go on, you know, follow the trend of what the funniest dance of the week is, because TikTok trends move very quickly. Like I said, Snapchat and TikTok are both known for very fast-paced fads. So if something is popular now, it's probably not popular 2 weeks from now. But it's known for having this really fad content, and people love to jump on the fad. So if you use your business to kind of dive into that similar space, you can probably get some really cool followers from this. And of course, the biggest takeaway is it's very good for Gen Z, but it can be difficult to strike the right tone for a business. And we'll talk about that when we talk about marketing strategies. I think the biggest thing is just making sure you realize what is professional for you as a business owner and what might not be. So for example, like a TikTok it's similar to Snapchat, right? Where it's like you're dealing with younger generations. There's some questionable content that might be going around. But if you were trying to get on a TikTok fad and maybe do a dance, I probably wouldn't pick one where there's a lot of booty shakes. But if any of you have Hulu or cable, or after this session want to YouTube Burger King TikTok commercial, Google it. This is not a commercial Burger King did on TikTok, but this is an example of how a business can utilize TikTok fads. There was a very popular fad probably month and a half ago, and it kind of petered out just within the last few weeks, where people on TikTok were doing a dance, and it had like this bass drop essentially, and you did like a dance like this, where you basically pushed your fist together and then did the up arrow, down arrow. And it was really funny. People did it to make just dances. People did it to add little text bubbles about their husbands or wives to be funny. Many small businesses used it to make like FAQ videos, like how do you make your products? Answer on the top. How do you do this? Answer on the bottom. And many people took advantage of it. And even Burger King paid to have an ad where they use that song, and their Burger King guy is making that dance, and it was all over Hulu. So people take advantage of those fads, and you can be very creative. So there is a very good way to use your business in TikTok, but just be careful of what is setting the tone that you're trying to set. So who is on TikTok? Like I said, Gen Z. It is more popular of an application. So this is another mobile only, like I said before. So when it comes to downloading as an app on your phone, it is more popular than YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat. So it is very popular, and it's becoming increasingly popular with older generations because people are jumping on the fad, right? They're like, oh, this is funny, this is exciting, I can learn how to make videos really easily. So in 2018, there were 66 million downloads in that 1 year, and it has just increased from there. Similar to Snapchat, so there's a reason I talk about these two together. It has most of its users opening the app every day. And since Snapchat started, there's been a 275% increase of in-app purchases. So once again, people buying a product after seeing it in the app. To Cosette's point, if it's a younger person, they will need someone with a credit card that's older to buy something for them. But there is a huge amount of people that are older that are using this platform as well. I want to draw everyone's attention to this right here. 52-minute average spend time on the app in a session. So if someone's on here multiple times a day, they could be spending multiple hours of their day on this platform. Gen Z, young millennials, even older millennials spend a ton of time on this app. It's a bit addicting, right? Because the app, and you'll see this when I show you how you set your account up, you open it and it immediately plays a video. And you can scroll to the next video, or if you just watch it and don't do anything, your phone just automatically plays the next video and plays the next video and plays the next video without you having to touch the screen. So it's really easy to get sucked in, which once again could mean you have a higher degree of engagement in this area. But as you can see down here, the age breakdown, ton of people in the age 13 to 17, age 18 to 24, and it peters off a little bit from there. Not to say that you won't find a ton of people on this platform though, because like I said, more and more adults are joining because it's fun and you find out how easy it is to use. So for example, potential audience of aged 18 and up, so people who can make purchases that can be used, that can be reached on TikTok if you were using an advertisement, over 825 million. It's a ton. Like I said, over 1 billion people on the platform, and over 825 million of them are 18 and up. So there's a ton of people here. And then these other statistics are just talking about age, you know, and how many people are on average using it across the globe. So some of the statistics we've talked about before, but certainly something to consider from that space. So why would you want to be on here as a business owner? There's higher user engagement. Like I said, the average time to be on here is significant. People are spending lots of time. They're engaged with the content. They think it's funny. They follow fads. So for example, if people are doing that dance that I was talking about, right, there's a hashtag that goes with that. If you make a similar video and you give it the same hashtag, then people who are searching for funny videos, like the first one they saw that does the dance, there's a higher chance that your video will pop up. So there's a ton of ways to engage here, even with people that are not following you. What do I mean by that? For example, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, who can see the content on your business page? Only people who are following your business page. I think that's one of the biggest hurdles to many social media platforms is unless you pay for an ad, how are people going to see your post if they're not following you? Unless someone they know shares your post. With Snapchat, which we'll talk about, and TikTok, even if people aren't following you, if you're following the right trend or your video pops up in the right time or you have the right hashtag, it can just show up. So for people who are in the same geographic area or for people who have said that they like similar videos to yours. So it's a lot easier from that perspective to find new audiences on these platforms. But of course, everyone's trying to do that. So there's some fierce competition in the space. TikTok is known for brand authenticity. So similar to Snapchat, right? These are both platforms that you can use to share your story, to be a little bit more personable, to be creative, to show people why they should come to your business. That's really the biggest benefit, I think, of being on TikTok. It's a growing audience, grows. It's been skyrocketing year to year. You can benefit from localization. So what do I mean by that? If you're a brand new person on TikTok and you make a video and you're like, how do I make new followers? You can take advantage of localization, which means even people who aren't following you at some point in the algorithm, TikTok might, I'm not going to say guarantee every single time, but might pull up your video because you're in proximity to them geographically and say that, hey, this is a video you might be interested in. So you can take advantage of that. And then also if you were ever going to pay for a TikTok ad or anything, they also let you sort to localization so that you can then be trying to meet, not meet, but engage with people who would then maybe come to your business. For example, if you're not selling something that you could ship, if you're a service or you're a restaurant or something like that, you can still take advantage of localization within TikTok. And like I said before, up-to-date trends are key. Even if you don't want to be on TikTok and make TikTok videos, I encourage you to just download one or maybe have your kid download one and have them tell you what the most up-to-date trend is. Because like that Burger King commercial I said earlier, people are following those trends, even outside of TikTok. And if any of you attended my session on Instagram, Instagram has Insta Reels. It's their version of TikTok. They were, once again, social media is always competing with each other. So if you are on Instagram, one of the things I would tell you is learn how to make Insta Reels. And if you make a TikTok, you can also have it automatically be an Insta Reel. So it's good to know from that perspective, but also just trending in general. If you're making any of video content or just trying to figure out what's most popular, this is a great place to kind of do some of that research. Over here on the side, I have some small business guide statistics. 35% of marketers say they're planning to use TikTok in 2021. Once again, uncharted territory. You're on the front end of being able to start utilizing this space. And then by 2024, it's predicted that 40% of users will be on TikTok. So like I said, it might just be younger generations now, but each year more and more older generations are downloading the app. And we're still on the beginning of TikTok. I'm so excited to see like where this app even goes. I mean, it could be the next Instagram for all we know. It's blowing up so exponentially. So I don't want you to discount the platform just because you might not be trying to reach high schoolers. There's definitely a ton of other people that are or are going to be on this platform. So that is what Snapchat does. That is what TikTok does. Now we're going to talk about how you get started on one. And because this is the basics webinar, I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. But if you have a question, please let me know. And then we'll talk about how to then make your first Snap or your first TikTok to actually get your business up and running. Let me just check the chat really quick here. People said, my kids age 27 and 30 really like TikTok. Yep, some of you have accounts. I'm a new TikTok user. I use it regularly to build my presence. Awesome, Kelby, because it's a great way to do that. Some of you have only seen it. All right, so there's a huge spread of where people are at with TikTok in the room. And then someone said, can you geofence ads to increase engagement? Yep, I think I might have covered that, but yes, and we'll talk about how you can do that with TikTok ads as well. But yes, certainly you can take advantage of that localization for sure. So, and I'm also curious at the end of this, when I first made this webinar, I thought these two are so new, it's good to talk about them together. I would love to hear in the survey after the fact if you think it merits 2 separate webinars in the future, one with a deep dive on Snapchat, one with a deep dive on TikTok. This is the first time I'm doing this one, so I want to make sure that we hit all of the bases for people, but always open to, feedback on what we'd like to see in the future. But for now, let's figure out how to get started on Snapchat. For those of you that might be thinking, okay, those are the benefits of Snap. Let's see if it makes sense for me. Like I said, it is a mobile application. So you're going to need to download it either from iOS or Android. I love providing PowerPoints with links to help you with next steps, right? So if you're someone who is at that very basic digital literacy, here are also links you will get that show you step-by-step how to download it. But you can download the application, you open it, you sign up, pretty much similar to other social media platforms. One thing I do want to draw to everyone's attention here is once you create your Snapchat username, you cannot change it later. This is one of the biggest differences from like a Facebook or an Instagram. A lot of people will ask me about Instagram and say, can I change my username after? Sure. Snapchat, you can't. So choose wisely. And if you think you want a Snapchat account to be for your business, I would give it the business name or whatever you want it to be to connotate your business. So what do I mean by that? If any of you have been on Facebook or LinkedIn, you know how you have to make a business page based off of it, and it has to be like connected to a personal account. Snapchat is not the same way. I think Snapchat is probably similar to Instagram, and that you make an account and it starts out as a personal account, right? And then you can convert it to a business account. So if any of you attended my Instagram session, I would say, if you're a brand new Insta user, first make your personal account. If you want one, you might not want a personal account. And then to make a second account, and you have to convert that personal account to a business account. Snapchat is the same thing. So if you want to make a business account, you have to make an account knowing you want to be your business account. So choose that username wisely, and then you will convert it to a business account. So that's something I just want to let people know up front, because I think that can be confusing. You'll choose your password. You do have to enter your phone number and verify it because this is a mobile application. And then it asks you if you want to find friends, which you may or may not want to do. Now, this GIF on the right that is rotating is talking through the setup for your personal account, and then you'll create your business account, which we're going to talk about next. And then step 3 is make an ad if you want to. Snapchat makes it sound really easy. It might not be as easy as this 3-step GIF, but it's not too much more complicated. So that's essentially the first step we just talked about. Before I show you that business transition, some of you that have never been on Snapchat, here's just some quick tips on how to use it. Snapchat is very similar to Instagram. Like, it can be very overwhelming to look at all of the icons because, like I said, Snapchat keeps like adding extra things to try to stay competitive in the space. But when you first look at your Snapchat, you're going to have a profile. I think this is a very funny, it's a cutesy explanation of what all of these icons do. You can obviously change your settings. Obviously, it's very funny. You are given a snap code. And if any of you know what a QR code, it's very similar to a QR code, but it's meant specifically for people to follow you on Snapchat. So once again, if you're on a business and you're trying to get more people to follow your Snapchat for those freebies or sneak peeks or limited time offers or whatever you might be trying to draw people to Snapchat for, you can put your QR code, your snap code on your marketing and draw people in. You have your username, your ID. You can have a Bitmoji. I don't know if anyone remembers Bitmojis. Those were super popular maybe 3 or 4 years ago and have kind of fallen off, but Snapchat still uses them a lot, and you can tailor your little cartoon character to look like you if you want. You certainly do not have to. You can decide to add friends based off of contact information on your profile. You can always look at what your story is, which is the story that you just published to everybody who's friends with you. That's up for 24 hours. This little thing here lets you see how many people have viewed it. And like someone said in the chat, it lets you see how many people have taken a screenshot. And you can tap this and see. You can literally see and be like, who took a screenshot? And if you didn't want them to, you can send them a message or do whatever you think the next step is. And then you can also do something. This is new on Snapchat. You can can't talk today. You can share a story publicly. I think this is the biggest benefit as a business owner. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but a public story is similar to what I talked about with TikTok, right? Where you can post a video and it might just show up organically based off of the TikTok algorithm and people's feeds that aren't following you. The Our Story function is very similar. It's a public story, so it doesn't just go to your friends. It can go to anyone in the public, but it's based on geography and tagging. So what do I mean by that? For example, one time I went to visit my sister. She lives at Texas A&M, and they had Texas-shaped chips, which I thought was hilarious. I've never been to Texas before. Why do they have to have tortilla chips shaped like Texas? I don't know, but I thought it was really cute. Took a picture and I put it on my Snapchat story. I also put it on the Texas A&M story. So our stories can be featured by location, topic, event. I picked it by location, Texas A&M. And what else is on that location? Then you can see anything else someone shared publicly. So I got to see stories from, you know, college kids at the bar. I got to see people at, you know, reading a book at the library by Texas A&M, you know, people on campus, whatever it was. So it's a public story and people can sort it by, like I said, location, topic, event. So as we're talking about how to use this for your business, do it geographically. If you're here in Philly, like me, do it by location, publish a story to Philly. And if you're like a local Philly donut shop, you can be like, Philly donuts, take a snap, 10% off if you take a screenshot of my snap. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you want people to screenshot and add that to the public, then people can see it. So that's very cool. This is one of those ways that Snapchat and TikTok are similar, right? That you can kind of reach people that aren't necessarily just following your Snapchat. And then this over here kind of explains what all of those mean in more detail. You're free to review that on your own if you like. Now, how do you make a snap? We just talked about kind of the back end and what all that means, but how do you make a snap? Oh, I'm sorry to do that twice, but I'm just gonna go back one. This little circle button down here always means camera, no matter what page of Snapchat you're on. So if you click this little circle button, it's gonna take you to this next page, which is, this is a black screen, but this is essentially, it's gonna have your camera. Either it's facing you and you just got surprised by your face, or it's facing out in front of you. And you can either take a picture or a video. You can also upload a picture if you would like. You can change the settings based on if it's dark. It's basically a camera. You can have flash, not flash. And then you snap, right? That's why it's called Snapchat. You literally just snap the picture and decide where you want it to go. You can either decide to send it to someone specifically. You can decide if you want it to go on a public story or if you just want it to go on your story. Gives you all of the different options there. If you ever are confused and want to go back to your settings always show up in the left-hand corner with your Bitmoji character. So that's how you take a quick a picture, really nice and easy. And what would you take a picture of? Like I said earlier, Snapchat is all about that unpolished, organic content. So maybe if you're that donut bakery, it's a picture of you baking the donuts, or a picture of the donuts before they go in the oven, or a picture of one of your clients with their permission, like enjoying their donut and coffee or whatever it is. You know, it can be on the cuff. Just really nice personal content that is engaging. That's the key part, right? It has to be engaging. It can't be something that people are not interested in, you know? So there's a lot you can do here though to share the business story. So what else is on Snapchat? Like I said, they started getting really overzealous. So if you just open Snapchat and said, Sarah, mine has so many other buttons and I don't know what to do with all of that, don't worry. The biggest thing is knowing how to make a snap, which you've learned. But if you go from this central camera icon, like I said, that's always going to mean camera. You can scroll through the menu on the bottom in the black to the right or the left. And now Snapchat has a bunch of, wow, I really cannot say anything on a Monday, ton of other stuff. So all the way to the end, it lets you let people know your location if you want. This is more like a friend thing. I do not have this. And as a business owner, I would not recommend you let people know where you are based on your phone. But just so you know, this exists. And if you don't want it to happen, make sure that I think it starts off automatically turned off. And this is something you have to turn on, but just know that this exists. Friends like it when they're using Snapchat personally. Next is the chat. So this is where people can chat you individually. They can send you a snap individually or a video individually. You can tell if it's a video because it's purple, like a purple icon. I don't know if you can see that kind of small there versus red for a picture. And how would you use this as a business? Well, you can maybe take a snap and put a little message on it saying something like, send me a direct message for the coupon code, or I don't know, whatever you want it to say, and have people chat you back and forth. Like I said, the middle is where you take your pictures and videos and do all that fun stuff. Then you go over to the side here. This is where you'll see stories, and it shows you all the stories, right? It'll show you your friends at the top. So that's anyone who's friended your account. It'll show you subscriptions. It'll show you recommendations. And then of course, public stories also show up here. So this is every kind of story that you could think of. And then all the way at the end is games, which I'm not going to spend time on because you're a business owner, you're not probably going on Snapchat to play a bunch of games. But if you were interested, you can learn more about games by clicking this link. But there's a lot you can do here. The biggest thing though is I don't want you to get overwhelmed by all the things you can do here. It's kind of similar to Instagram, right? Instagram added all that extra stuff and got kind of scary. But I promise you, Snapchat, you really just need to focus on your stories, the story you're putting out, or the public story, the videos, maybe chatting some people if they're interacting with you. That's really important. But I don't want you to necessarily get bogged down in all of the extra things that Snapchat keeps adding. So how do you make Snapchat for business? What you're going to have to do is, don't ask me why, that Snapchat, you have to download mobile originally. But when you want to make it a business account, you're going to have to go to snapchat.com/business and identify that you're making that account a business account now. So what would you do? The first thing it asks you to do is identify your business type. You are all a small business. And then it gives you this option here. Would you like to convert your account to an ads and public profile, just an ad profile, or a free public profile? What does this mean? As a business Snapchat account, you can have people that are following you without necessarily you needing to follow them back. Kind of similar to like a YouTube, right? Or like the LinkedIn and Facebook business pages, where it's not necessarily for people to have that friend interaction. This is really helpful for you if you want to do this route, because then anything you post on your profile can be public, and you can take advantage of having people subscribe to see your updates without necessarily having to then see all of their updates. So it's really great from that perspective. I would recommend making your business Snapchat a free public profile. You can make an ad account if you think you're going to pay for ads. You might determine that after this webinar, but and if you only want to create one or the other. And if you're like, Sarah, I don't know, maybe I want to create an ad account later, that's okay. Set up with the free public profile for now. And you can always go back and create an ad account later, but you have the option for both. So what do I mean about that business profile? This is what it looks like, right? So if I want to convert my personal profile to a business profile, I log in with that username and password that I made already. It says, is this your username? Yes. Do you want to add a picture? Whatever you want to do here, select your business. With a business profile, you can now add a website. You can add a bio for people. You can add a category of business, which you could not do with just a personal account. And there's a button for people to subscribe to see your stories. So like I said, people can follow you without you needing to follow them. So that's a great way to do it. It's very easy to just convert it. But probably more where you're going to be interested in having your business. What are Snapchat ads? This is a video with a link at the bottom. I'm not going to play through it right now for time reasons, but if you want to know how to make an ad, this will walk you through it step by step. What's a reason you might want to do a Snapchat ad? 55% of Gen Zs that are on Snapchat say that they have an ad recall of 0 to 2 seconds. So you have that much time to get their attention. It's not a lot of time. So you might want to be purposeful in how you make an ad. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it now because many of the people in the basics courses don't want to do ads at this time, but I want to provide this information for you. So is Snapchat right for you? Just in case you were wondering, who else is on here by industry, you can take a look at this, because you want to be competitive in the space, right? And you want to be on a platform that makes sense for you. Not every platform will make sense for you. So these are who else is on Snapchat. And in case you were curious how Snapchat is doing, it's definitely not as popular as TikTok, but it's a steady number 4 on people downloading it. So it's still consistently growing. It has more people downloading it than Twitter or LinkedIn or even Pinterest. So this is a great place to be if you've already mastered Facebook and Instagram, or maybe you don't want to say the word mastered, but are on Facebook and Instagram. Snapchat might be a really good next step. Someone asked, will there be a recording? Yep. Someone said they want a deep dive on TikTok. Awesome, noted. Can you send a Snapchat to multiple people at one time? Yes. Or only one? Also yes. So you can decide to send it to multiple people, just one person, your full story. It's really unique. You have a lot of options there. All right. Yes. And then someone said most people won't watch long videos. Yeah, it's true. The attention span is small. Kelby said, I stick with longer videos on YouTube and 3 to 12 seconds for ads and 30 seconds max for videos. Well said, Kelby. I would say the exact same thing. When we get to TikTok right now, TikTok lets you go up to 60 seconds. You might not get someone to pay attention for even that 60 seconds though. So it's really trying to find that sweet spot. On Snapchat, because it's disappearing content, most of the content is like up for 5 seconds and then gone. You want to draw their attention within the first like 0 to 2 seconds, or they'll just click past it. So that's something to consider. So how to get started on TikTok? Snapchat, I think, was a little bit more complicated because you had to convert to a business account and it looks a little different and you have to do it online. TikTok is very similar, so it shouldn't be as complicated. But how do you set up a TikTok account? Once again, you have to go on the mobile. You'll click sign up. You can either use your phone or email or a different platform. And then you log in. And when you set up your account, and you can always go and use the tap me in the lower right-hand corner to edit your profile, you can add your picture, your bio, any other links, like you can link it to your Instagram, any of that fun stuff. And then as a placeholder here, you can run ads on TikTok as well, but TikTok ads are a bit more complicated. So what does it look like? TikTok is much simpler than Snapchat. You open it, and like I warned you, it gives you this black screen for all of maybe 2 seconds, and then automatically opens playing a video. If you have your volume up on your phone, you might get a little scared, but it's just going to play videos for you. And it's just sorting it by hashtags, by popularity, by recency. Anything with more likes gets seen by more people based off of the algorithm. As you start to like things, the algorithm starts to kind of get smart and try matching you with things that it thinks you'll like. If you want to make a video, you'll click the plus sign at the bottom, and just like Snapchat, it pops up and now you've got the camera. And you can decide if you want to take a video or upload a video. You have that option. And I think where people get nervous is TikTok has a ton of editing features. That doesn't mean you need to use all of the editing features, though, if you're feeling nervous about it. So you can certainly flip the camera. You can change the speed. Like if you want your video to sound really slow or really fast, you can add filters. You can decide how long you want it to be. So let's say you took a video on your phone and it's 20 seconds in length, but you really only want the first 15 seconds of it. You can set the timer for TikTok to cut the video off after 15 seconds. So there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in that space. How do you make a TikTok video? This is going to be a whole video to talk about it. Like I said, next time I run this session, I think I will make it a bit longer of a time because I really wish I could spend the time to like walk you through literally how easy it is to make a TikTok video right now. If anyone wants, you can always review this video. It's only 3 minutes in length. I think it'll really demystify how you just upload a video, like add a cool sound to it. I always recommend to add a sound that is trending. So once again, it'll recommend trending songs for you. You can add a little comment, whatever you would like, and publish. It's not as terrifying as I think a lot of people think it is. Maybe next time I run TikTok in the new year, we have an entire hour-long session and I just talk about making the video. But for now, in the basics, this should give you a good next step. If you want to turn it into a business account now, because you can just make a business personally, but if you want to make it a business account, it's really easy to do so. It's similar to Instagram, where you'll go to like I said, in the lower right-hand corner where it says my profile, you'll click on that for settings. You'll manage my account, switch it to a pro account, and then you pick your category, whatever industry you're in. That sets your business account up. Now, This is different. This is if you want ads, this slide. So to be clear, I'm going to repeat that. To make it a business account, if any of you have made an Instagram business account, same concept. You just have to go into the settings, switch it to a business account. Now you get better access to analytics. You can see who's liking your stuff, what the percentages are, how well your posts are doing, et cetera, et cetera. You have the option to have your website listed and all that fun stuff. That's as simple as it is to make it a business account. If you want ads, for some reason, just like Snapchat, you have to go to tiktok.com/business or business manager, I believe, and go to welcome to TikTok ads manager and set it up online. TikTok ads are a whole nother beast, but you can decide, what country you're in. Are you doing this as your business? And there are 4 types of ads. I want to go through these really quickly, but in case you see other people using them, this is what we're talking about. There's an in-feed ad, which is probably the most obvious and what most of you would use. It's where when people are scrolling through videos, all of a sudden your video ad, maybe made a video of your business and you want to show up as an ad for people, shows up next. First, based on the algorithm, it'll show up next for people based off of geography or age or whatever demographic you put in. And it also includes like a little button for people to buy now or whatever you want to say, check this out now, and it drags them off to the website to purchase. So the big difference between a normal video and an ad video is it'll go to people purposefully because you paid for it too, like an ad, and it has that button. This is the most used ad form. You can also do a brand takeover, which means instead of the black screen with the TikTok logo being the first thing that pops up momentarily for people as the videos are loading, your ad pops up. Literally the first thing when someone opens the app, your ad is the first thing that pops up. That's called a brand takeover. Brand hashtag challenge, that might be you're trying to make a hashtag go viral. Some people do that. You can have it paid or you can try to do it organically. It's a little bit harder. It's a little more nebulous. You have to know what you want that hashtag to be about. And then you can make something called a branded lens. So that's like a filter that you would have to work with TikTok to make. And it makes custom lenses or stickers or things that people then can put on their video. So out of all of these, you might be saying, what, Sarah, lenses, hashtag, oh my goodness, like you didn't even show me how to make the video. Stick with in-feed ads is my opinion. And here's why. The next question I get a lot is how much does TikTok advertising cost? So this is another example of the in-feed ad, right? This is the one I advocate for you if you were going to go this route is, let's say you're a pie shop and you have this really cute video of some cartoon pies that you made in Canva. If any of you watched my Canva video. And then it says, get some whole pumpkin fruit pie, shop now, and then lifts them off to your website. That's easy. That's an easier way to get people. And it's cheaper as well. But TikTok advertising is not always cheap. So for example, like I said, in-feed ads, your minimum daily budget will be about $50. That's a daily budget. Let's say you only want to run it for 2 days and that's $100. That's still not nearly as cheap as Facebook or Instagram, but it's not terrible. If you want to get serious in this space, some of you might consider spending, $50 to $200 to do some TikTok ads. But in-feed ads are really the only thing that's going to make sense for you as a small business, because a branded hashtag challenge, if you're not doing organically and you want TikTok to help you by paying, it's going to be like $150,000 a day. That brand takeover is really meant for like the Targets and the Walmarts of the world. That's $50,000 a day. So those are nowhere near what you're looking at. In-feed ads is what you'd be interested in, I'm assuming. How would you make a TikTok ad? You go through the entire ad manager, which like I said, is online. It's not in the app. You have to go online and create that account, but you'll create an ad. You'll decide where you want people to be routed, whether it's to an app or to your website. You get to decide the ad details, upload the video, choose the target audience based off of location, age, there's a ton of different demographics there. And then you set the budget and the schedule you're willing to pay. Like I said, I think I could do a whole in-depth session on this, so I won't spend too much time now. And then is TikTok right for you? So after hearing all of that, do you think TikTok even makes sense? Well, take a look at the other industries. Definitely anyone in tech and IT. Food and beverage is huge, media, sports. So, something to consider. Not all industries will make sense on TikTok, but you might start knowing if you do by looking at who else is on there. And then just looking at content that has grown, like getting sponsored by others, whether that's user generated, like your clients making videos about you, or, engaging in that organic hashtag challenge. TikTok has way more engagement than any of the other platforms that exist doing the same trend thing. So when it comes to making a trend or a fad, right, like we talked about work, TikTok is blowing it out of the water right now. So if that's something you're interested in, that would be a good reason to end up on TikTok. So I'm going to finish this off with some tools and techniques. I'm sorry that it's 12:59. I'm going to try to get through this and be conscious of everyone's time. Garba, if you could put the survey link in the chat really quickly, that would be great, just so everyone can review it while I'm talking. Thank you. So marketing tools and techniques. This is probably where a lot of you want to land, right? You're like, I think I could figure out how to make a Snapchat, or I think I could figure out how to make a TikTok, but now what do I do with it? For a beginner's course, this is my strategy to you. This is what I recommend. On Snapchat, your biggest question is probably, what content do I put up? Here are some ideas. Document your company's day-to-day. Use the app story to walk through your workplace, like show people like offices, or show do employee spotlights, or like I said, that picture or video of you making the donuts or whatever it is. Maybe you're working from home, your little cat is sitting next to you, he's your office buddy, whatever it is. Those are the kinds of things that people really enjoy. You can also do Q&As or FAQs. So like if people often come to your business and have the same question over and over again, you can make a Snapchat video that answers those questions. There are a ton of things that you can do to be creative here, but the biggest takeaway is you need to be uploading regularly. Snapchat has the highest engagement of a loyal following. Like I said, that's one of its benefits, but you need to give your followers something to follow. If you do not, they might forget that you exist, or they'll unfollow you. Like I said, people are on there daily, so they're looking for daily content. So if you want to use Snapchat, you're going to want to get serious. And I don't mean serious in like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything to post, I can't think of what to post. Snapchat isn't about the polished content, remember? So even if you're like, oh my God, Sarah, I have no idea how to post something every day in a row, you don't have to plan it out that much at the beginning, because it's organic, right? It's unpolished. You could just be going about your workday, take a quick picture of something that you're working on, and make that the post for the day. But you just want to be consistent. It doesn't have to be a pre-planned strategy as much as the other platforms that have static content. You want to interact with the user. So like I said, use that chat function. Let people interact with you. Ask them to chat with you. So like make a story and then say, hey, if you chat with me, you'll get XYZ, or chat with me to know more, or whatever it is. And if people chat you, definitely respond. That's the biggest thing, is this loyal following wants the engagement. And of course, you could always sponsor a quick Snap ad. Snapchat ads are a little cheaper than TikTok. And they're normally about 10 seconds, maybe even a little less, but you do have to draw them in quickly. And you can use this to also advertise on Twitter, Instagram, etc. But it's a great place to start, is to start having people follow you, because you need to grow that traction somehow, and maybe a small Snap ad is a good way to go. This is just another example of what a business account looks like. So they made their profile picture the logo. It has their website. You can subscribe to follow their stuff, and it even has like a shop function if people want to get lifted to go shop for your items. So there's a ton you can do to make your business really sleek on Snapchat, and then provide that human fun element to what you're doing. So those are the first 4 things I would think about when you're thinking of a Snapchat strategy. With your TikTok, it's a little different. You want to get to the point with any video. So 1, TikTok is all about video. So video, video, video. 2, it's not necessarily as important that you're on there every day, because the TikTok algorithm is really going to take over. Either it's going to blow your video up or it's not. And you don't necessarily always have a ton of control over that. So I don't want you to feel like this is one of those platforms where you have to come up with content once a month or once a week or once a day. It's really going to depend on what works most for you. The biggest thing is going to be getting on the trend, because that makes it more likely that your video will be seen. So don't drag it out for the entire 60 seconds. Like I said, you might want to be short and sweet and quick, get to the point. Why am I following you? Why would I follow you? Is this funny? Is this interesting to me? Do I want that product? What's happening here? Always use trending sounds or videos. Like I said, do the trending dance, whatever the trending dance is, or if the new Taylor Swift song is trending, see if you can use that in one of your videos. Use a trending hashtag. So when you post your video, you'll post it with a popular hashtag, and TikTok will actually list the top trending hashtags on that Discover tab at the bottom. So always take a look. And even if the hashtags don't always relate to your video, use them because people are looking under those hashtags and they might just happenstance upon your video. So it's really good to hop on those and hop on the trends. I know this sounds like a broken record, but TikTok is all about the trends. So I do encourage you to take some time to think about that. And if you're like, I don't even know what video, Sarah, how do I make a trend? You can make a video of just you saying, hey, good morning. This is my product. Take a look. And make the funny dance while you're doing it, whatever it is. Or take a silent video. I think silent videos are even easier with TikTok, where you're not even talking. Even if it's a short, like let's say it's a 10-second video of you putting the donuts in the oven and then taking the mitts off and going like this or something. Just something cute, like little, put it with a song, or put little stickers of donuts on it, or say, or a little caption that says, these are going to smell so good in 20 minutes, or whatever you want to do. And just add a trending song and add the trending hashtags. It doesn't have to be that much more deep unless you want it to be. But you do want to tell a story. So it has to be connected to your business. People ask me a lot of the time, what is professional and not professional on this page? Whatever is telling the story of you as it relates to your business. So yes, if your kids are part of your business, or you're working on the business to get them through school, that's part of the story. But just taking a random video of your kid making snow cones when your business is accounting probably isn't. So you want to be connected in some way. And you might want to leave a little mystery about what's going on next. Always a very nice way to get people to follow you or try to stay in touch with your next upcoming content. And don't forget analytics. When you have that TikTok business account, you can look at the analytics. So see who's following you and figuring out how to make your content better. And this is a whole guide on how to do TikTok strategy from TikTok themselves that I recommend. But essentially, if you don't want to watch it later, it all sums down to this on the right. Try to keep it easy for people. Is make sure you have an organic business account, maybe pay for some peaks every once in a while, and create partnerships with other businesses, or try to get user-generated content from your clients. That is the best way to get the most out of TikTok, is a healthy mix. So in summary, it's all about video marketing right now. Thanks for staying on a couple minutes later. I know this was a ton to get through today, but videos that are shorter in length reach so many more people. And that is why TikTok and Snapchat are similar. They're both targeting that very small amount of attention that you need to grab someone and hold them to the video. So these are both very popular. Whether you use one or the other, it's a great way to get started in drawing people's attention here. So these last couple of slides are more about how to increase your following. This is something I put on everything, basically outlining that you need to be authentic and engage the audience and use hashtags, nothing you haven't heard before. And try using some fun tools to figure out how to do this. So many of you might have attended my session on Canva or something similar. Try to use some of these tools that I recommend to make it easier for you to make content. And some resources. So if you're like, what's the next step? Love to provide that. That was it for me today. Like I said, I was worried that this one was going to take a little bit longer to get through, so I do appreciate everyone's time today. I'm going to stay on if people want me to take a look at the chat or had any questions. And if not, have a fabulous Thanksgiving. Thank you for spending your time with me today. And let me know in the survey if you're like, I want a full hour and a half on TikTok, Sarah, tell me and I'll make it. If you want a full one on Snapchat, same thing, but we've never run one on either of these before. Wasn't totally sure what the interest would be. So let us know because we follow the surveys to provide webinars. Someone asked if the webinar is getting recorded. Yes, so you'll all get a copy of the recording. You'll get a copy of the PowerPoint. And yeah, Garba, why don't you take it away and I'll take a look at the questions.
Okay. Once again, Ms. Sarah, thank you for a wonderful presentation. Please, to some of our attendees that are still asking if they will have the link to the recording and a copy of the PowerPoint, just as my presenter actually said, all will be sent to you, as soon as possible. Please, in addition to this, just as a reminder, for the 30-second survey I pasted, please try as much as possible to help us to fill out this 30-second survey. Remember, we need your feedback to improve on the services we provide to you at a low cost, even as it's also required by our funders. I think, Mr. I don't think we have any other question on the.
I think I see one. Barbara asked, how short are the videos, or how short do they need to be? So TikTok, the video can't be more than 60 seconds. As I think it was Kelby said, and like I recommended, 30 seconds or less is normally where most people end up, especially as they're starting out. You're going to find it easier to make content that is that short. And also you're going to draw people's attention. Most people don't watch something the full 60 seconds. On Snapchat, you have like that 5 seconds. I would not make a Snapchat that's more than 5 to 10 seconds. So that's my biggest one there. I just saw in the chat a little bit further back, someone asked if you had permission to share other people's videos and then said, never mind, but I think that's a valid question. So yes, well, if it's anyone's audio, like the songs, all of that on TikTok, you can just use. So any of the audio that you want to match to your video, you do not need permission. You can always use it. As far as other people's videos, and if I do a deep dive on TikTok, we can talk about this more. But if you want to like use someone else's video and do a side-by-side, you can. If they don't give you permission, then when you go to like click to download the video for the side-by-side, you won't be able to. But you can actually like use other people's videos with your video if you wanted to. And when you make your video, you will give people permission to or to not do that. So that was another valid question. Definitely would warrant more conversation for sure. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the Monday before Thanksgiving. I was getting really tongue-tied. All right, I don't see any other questions. So if you do have a question, now is the time. Once again, I want to thank you all. Please do fill out that survey. And if there's enough interest, then yeah, I would love to do a full deep dive on Snapchat and a full deep dive on TikTok. I know there's so much to be said for these two. So once again, thank you for staying on a couple extra minutes and enjoy your fabulous holiday with friends and family. Take some time for yourself and get ready for Shop Small Saturday. Can't forget Shop Small Saturday, right? So I hope that some of you are doing some sales or some marketing. If you are, would love to service your shop. So feel free to send me a message or let us know what you're doing. Tag Temple SBDC on social media. We love to support small businesses, especially on Shop Small. All right, that's all I got, Garba.
Okay. Before we wrap it up, I just want to use this opportunity once again to thank each and every one of you for keeping it a day with us. And also to my wonderful Temple Small Business Development Center team members. Thank you guys for your usual cooperation, your hard work, for making it possible for us to have this great webinar. And without much ado, I think we'll draw the curtain to close. Once again, thank you and do have a nice day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.